It seems to me that we have lost perspective on what it is that was fundamental to the feminine and the masculine principle. It seems that the society has allowed those two particular principles, male, female, man, woman, sex, gender, it's now this huge gumbo that anything goes. And when you have a society where anything goes, anything can happen. There is no predictory circumstances where you can know, hey, I have this for my son and my daughter. There are 7 generations that are going to follow me in accordance with the plan that I have for now. We don't do that. Everything is from moment to moment. We've been individualized, and therefore all our power has been stripped from us. We no longer think family. We talk family, but we don't have the infrastructures of what a family is first before we can actually extend that into a larger-based family. So before we can actually deal with the macrocosm, we have to deal with the microcosm, which is in the individual homes. And right now, 79% of the black homes in this country are run by women, and women alone. There are no men in there. That's a pathology. If that was a circumstance that was happening in the white community or any other community, those bastards in Congress would have held an emergency session and said we are under an emergency condition right now because 79% of our white people are only being raised by white women. We don't look at it now. We have become so comfortably numb with the fact that our sisters are taking 2 jobs and 3 jobs and unknowingly have accepted that job back in the days when it was the flavor to say I'm independent and I'm going to be a feminized woman, I'm going to be a career chaser and all this. She was hoodwinked, but the problem is we can't get her to be convinced that she was hoodwinked. And when I'm saying what I said back in '89 that this was going to happen, everybody thought that first I was crazy, second that I was some kind of misogynist and woman hater. I said that you are going to be used as a tool, as a puppet to undermine and destroy the black community as well as the family, unknowing to you. It's not going to be something that you're going to do consciously. It's going to be something you're going to be pushed into doing. But we don't have enough of a cohesive family and trust of each other so that we could see these things happening. In fact, when we were putting this message out there, it was at the exact same time that the feminist movement had caused women to not trust men. So when I was saying what I was saying, there was a lot of emotional backlash about it because at that time, the feminized media under Oprah and all the rest of these feminists who were out there pushing down the woman's agenda didn't want to hear anything from men who were listening and telling them, listen, here's what you're doing at this point. Well, now we have the breakage, the collateral damage, the wreckage, the madness that we call black society, and I'm talking madness at this point. We may have become comfortable with it. It's still madness, you see. So, and like Krishnamurti said, it is no great thing to congratulate yourself, and I'm one of my teachers, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase him. He said, it is no great thing to say that you have become normal in a mad society. You have acclimated to a sick and depraved society, and you have somehow normalized, and you're feeling that you're all right in there. Yeah, anybody who feels all right in an insane society is themselves insane or so numb they don't understand how sick they really are. So at this point, I have done a feminalysis and a review again so that people could rethink from those last 20 years what has happened to us as a family and a society. And the sisters who are now understanding and overstanding as well as understanding what's happening, the sales of my book has now picked up. Why? Because the book now has the secrets about how they conducted a tactical covert war on the black community through the woman.
Through the woman.
She sees how that was done and how we as men were not vigilant enough to fight for the women so that they did not play that game. After they took out the king and then they took out the prince, think what I'm saying now, after they took out Martin, then they took out Malcolm, they took out the king and the heir apparent.
Yes.
So there was no males to ascend to the throne, at least in the mind. Khalid stepped up to do that, but guess what? Okay? So now there were no men to deal with the queens. And so who moved in? Your CIA agent, covert operative, her name being Gloria Steinem. She stepped to the black women, and of course, we now know that Malcolm's wife, as well as Martin's wife, went boule. So over that we have been covertly taken down by the CIA. And we had a CIA operative working with our women, with Oprah, with all of our black women, and they now were given a bill of goods that they thought was going to help the people. It did not. We got worse. So it's time for us to start looking at what the damage is, to check out the breakage, do the forensics on what has happened over the last 20 years. And if you are really serious about it, you would want to attend this webinar on Saturday, because we're going to get real. We're going to get down to the specifics. You as a male, you as a female, what do you have to do at the fundamental level first? Who are you at that fundamental level? Not what they're telling you you have to be in order to survive and to move into a whole new slave category. No, we're not going to listen to that right now. We have to come back to that inner side. Remember I was telling you at the beginning that there was something, that cosmic organic interface that we have not used it. We have now let it slide into atrophy. Now we have to reactivate that ability. And to do that, we have to assess how we have been losing this war, how we have been losing each of the battles up to this point.